Hey. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. It's a good day to be here. Um, I am just coming to share 5 things today not to say after someone passes or after someone dies. 5 things not to say after someone passes. 5 things not to say after someone passes. Listen, just kind of been thinking about the holidays and this time of year. I have experienced some personal loss, and since I've experienced some personal loss, I have just been touched to just kind of just share a journey and some tools and maybe just some information to help persons help cope with the loss of their loved one, and just thinking about grief and loss in particular. So 5 things not to say when someone passes. I think I have been guilty of saying some of these things. Maybe you have, but thinking of ways how you can help comfort a person after they have lost a loved one. I am Dr. Sean Arthur, and so I've been through loss and tragedy, and so I want to share these things with you, and hopefully you can share with somebody. And do me a favor, share this link with someone who you know might can be helped by this. So I would greatly appreciate that. All right. So 5 things to avoid saying to someone who has lost a loved one or who has experienced a loss in their family. One of the first things to avoid is saying to them, "You are so." By I'm having some connection issues, but it's written by article written by Christine Stewart. She wrote this article, 5 things to avoid saying to someone who's lost somebody. So here's the first thing. Avoid saying to them, "You're so strong. You are so strong." Really, in that moment, it's not their strength. It's just the fact that they are in shock. And so to suggest that you are so strong means that they can just simply get over what they're experiencing, what they're going through. However, you can use better language by saying, it's not the strength, but it's the shock. So you can say something like, "I can see that you're hurting. This is really hard. I can see that you're hurting. This is really hard," instead of saying "you're really strong." And I know I've said that in the past. And so I want to be more conscious with helping people, right? So instead of saying "you're so strong," when in fact they're in shock, just say "I can see you're hurting. This is really hard." Second thing, we find ourselves saying sometimes, persons will say to you, especially if you had a loved one who passed from sickness or suffered a while before they pass. So sometimes we'll say after they pass, "At least he or she isn't suffering anymore. At least he or she isn't suffering anymore." So the she says in the article, when someone realizes that there is nothing they can say that take away the pain, it actually takes pressure off them to say the right thing. But that's not what we're trying to do, right? So the right thing to say is sometimes just being present. It's just to say, "I don't know what to say. I just want you to know that I care. I don't know what to say, but I just want you to know I care." So avoid saying, "At least he or she isn't suffering anymore," and just say something a little more compassionate by saying, "I just don't know what to say, but I just want you to know that I care." Those are the things that persons are not really paying attention to, and people can say some crazy and even inappropriate things at the wrong time, because some people want to say something but they just say the wrong thing. Okay, so what to say? "I just want you to know I care." All right. Here's the third thing, and again, I think I've done this. It's a third thing. I'm sorry. Third thing to avoid. Sorry, I'm getting a few calls back to back. But third thing to avoid saying is, "Call me if you need anything." Call me if you need anything. Right? Think about in that moment. There's so many things that are going on. And there are so many things that are happening after a loss. So while it seems sympathetic, sometimes the person actually don't even know what they need, right? So instead, you can just make an offer and something like say, hey, listen, I'm coming over and I'm going to take you to lunch. Hey, I'm coming over and I'm going to take the kids out for the day. Or I'm coming over and I'm just going to help you clean up the place. So instead of saying, call me if you need anything, make an offer, make a real suggestion that can help the person so that they can have some tangible effect. Because in that moment when you experiencing loss and going through the difficulty of losing someone, your mind is just all over the place. And so to suggest something that can really help them is probably a better thing. So just say, hey, listen, I'm coming over to take you to lunch. I'm coming over to take out the kids. Hey, I'm coming to walk your dog for you. Hey, listen, I'll drive you around today so you can help take care of your business. Instead of saying, call me if you need anything, because there are a lot of things that they need. Here's the fourth thing to avoid. Here's the fourth thing to avoid. And that is by saying, how are you? Listen, I realize that I say this and I help people process loss and death. But I often ask them, how are you? How are they? They're hurting. They're sad. They're upset. They are grieving. They are bewildered. They're discombobulated. They are just in a mode of trying to figure out life. So how are they? Life is upside down right now, especially after the loss of a loved one, a shocking loss of a loved one. So what to say instead is, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? And then by saying that, you can enter the moment of how they're feeling in that moment. And sometimes persons may say to you, I'm feeling good right now. I think I can make it. Or they may say, man, I'm just really down today. Today is just not a good day for me. And you give them the space to open up and to share. And one of the best things about this kind of a prompt is just being there to listen, not saying anything, just listening, just listening, just listening. And that listening really, really just helps them to help process what they are going through. So avoid asking them the question, how are you? Instead say, how are you feeling today? And then here's the fifth thing is reminding them, don't ask this question. Don't say this, it's been a year already, or it's been a month already. That immediately can plunge them back into the difficulty of the moment or the season, and just really have them arrested by the circumstance of what's happening, right? So, so when you say, hey, it's been a year already, it's almost somewhat could be insensitive to say, hey, listen, you should be over this by now, or you should be in a better place. Well, here's the thing I always say, man, grieving and grief and loss is different for every person. It's different for every person. And grief is not something, or loss or death is not something that you get over, but it's something that you go through. And while you go through the various stages of grief, sometimes you repeat that cycle. And so when you say something like, it's been a year already, it could come across very cold, very insensitive, not really tapping into the feelings of the persons. And so here's something better to say. You could say, I know you still miss him or her, and I do too. I know you miss them, and I do too. That's a more appropriate thing. You're entering into the pain with them, right? You're entering in the situation with them, and that is helping them with what they are dealing with. So instead of saying, "Hey, it's been a year already, it's been a month already," like, why are you still crying type of deal? No, say to them, "Hey, listen, I know you miss him or her. I know you miss them, and I do too." Then now you're offering compassion. Now you're opening up for dialogue again. You're preparing the way to just listen, because the persons at this point, the person who is experiencing loss, they just need a listening ear. And you provide that opportunity for them to be able to share what's on their heart and to be able to listen. So we all want to be there for the people who we love when they experience difficulty, when they've experienced stress, when they've experienced this loss of a loved one. And so the best thing you can do is often just be silent and avoid saying these things. Okay, so here's a recap. 5 things not to say. The first one is saying to the person, "You're so strong." Instead of saying that, just say to them, "I can see you're hurting. This is really hard." Okay, I can see that you're hurting. This is really hard. Second thing, at least he or she isn't suffering anymore. Right? At least he or she isn't suffering anymore. Instead of saying that, just say, "I don't know what to say. I just want you to know that I care. I don't know what to say. I just want you to know that I care." Third thing, call me if you need anything. So instead of saying that, make a real suggestion. "Hey, listen, I'm gonna come over and take you for lunch. I'm gonna pick up the kids. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna come clean your house." Instead of saying, "Is there anything?" Call me if you need anything. And I've done that too. Make it practical. Make it real for them. Fourth thing, avoid saying, "How are you?" Instead of saying, "How are you?" say, "How are you feeling today?" How are you feeling today? And then finally, fifth one is, "It's been a year already." You recalling the time, almost suggesting that they should be over. Instead of that, you should say, "I know you still miss them, and I do too. I know you still miss them, and I do too." All right. I hope these 5 things have helped you today. Sorry, I was having some connection issues in the beginning. Then I was getting some phone calls. But I just have a passion. I just want to help people who may be going through grief and loss. I know I have. I am grieving currently. And so hopefully these things can help you. All right. I always like to just close with a word of prayer because I am a religious person. And I pray God's blessings straight upon you. Father, I pray that you bless every person that has heard this and will hear this at some point. I pray that you help them through their time of grief and loss as they try to seek to know how to process and do life without the person or persons who they love. For this is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. God bless you. Thank you all so much. Hey, do me a favor. Would you share this if you've been helped by it? Would you share it with somebody? All right. Peace and blessings.